So I remember when we were doing shapes and things like those, we'll make bread and I cut it into the different shapes, whether rectangle or triangle, and then we're at the dining table ready to eat and so well. I shaped up my bread. Who wants a triangle? And somebody said, I said, okay, take it. And that was just it, you know.
Friend or sister, pick whichever one is stronger. She's both to me. And you want to think of the title she loves best? Sister-in-law. SIL. We say Sil. My husband and I caught up with comfort enders a while ago while we were on a trip. The woman, she is a bundle of wisdom, and there was no way I was going to let her go without tapping from her rich source of wisdom. And so I set up a chat with her. I expect people will go away with different things from this video. Maybe you see a woman who helped her family survive a war, a real war in Liberia, or you see a woman who turned an idea that was meant for her family, a little idea, into a big thing that is now impacting the whole community, indeed, her country. Or a creative woman who long ago, before the COVID, knew how to do what we all had to do during the COVID, massive adjustments. Or a businesswoman who turned a little idea that was meant for her family's consumption into a massive venture. And you may see a minister of the gospel who would go anywhere for her Lord Jesus Christ. Or a lady whose charitable heart is giving and keeps giving to her country. All this and many more you can expect to find in the story of Comfort Angels. And if you like this video, hey, give it a thumbs up. And if you think it will be helpful to somebody, share with them. Any comments? Please drop them below. They will be very helpful to us all. Have you subscribed to my channel? If you haven't, this is another very good opportunity to do so. Thank you.
So welcome, Sister Comfort, to Blossom with Busola. It's so beautiful to have you here today. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And if this is the first time you're coming here, it's the best day ever to come. And if you're always here, thumbs up for you. Thank you for always being here. Recently, I was just having a chat with Sis Comfort. She started talking about when she homeschooled her children and how they changed from Mrs. Enders when they're in school to Mama when they get into the kitchen. But I'm going to let her talk about all of that. So Sis, you did say to me when we were talking that you didn't set out, you and your husband didn't set out to homeschool your children. No, we did not. It just happened, or circumstances thrusted that on you. Would you like to speak a bit about that? Okay, you know, when you talk about family and other things, you talk about things that you have sat down to plan or maybe dream about. Yeah. And homeschooling for our children was not one of those things. So how did it happen? But we were thrown into it because of circumstances. For one thing, our children were born during the war in Liberia, and so we were moving between Liberia, Nigeria, and other places. And so that's one side of it. And each time we would move, there was no definite time about when are we coming back home to Liberia. And principally because of the frequent movement. Yeah. And I was saying, well, homeschooling is not even an option in our setting. How do I do it? And even though I was doing as a teacher, yeah, I was doing some playthings, you know, at home with them when our children were going on 4. But then what would I do with the real school needs that they have and being graded grade level by grade level? What should I do? And we were talking, it wasn't only me,
we talked with other women. A friend of mine told me about a packaged curriculum for homeschooling.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit about why the frequent movement. And then when my friend talked about it, I said, maybe I should do that. I went for the training. I did not, as much as I'm a teacher, I did not do something like somebody has written up a curriculum and put it together and then you just take it and go with it. But that was good because my background being in secondary education, there were certain things that I need to catch up on early childhood education, and also this package provided that information that I needed, and so it was added to what I already knew about.
When you were introduced to the package and you had the training, how confident did you feel that you could use that package to teach your children?
Well, for one thing, I had taught elementary school before, not early childhood, and I had worked in different contexts with children. Sunday school was always exciting, so it was like, okay, if I have more guidance, I should enjoy doing this, and that was it.
When you were in Nigeria, you homeschooled them, and then you were able to return to Liberia. And then, when you got to Liberia, you started looking for what you call the regular schools for them. What was the reason for this, if you already felt confident teaching them by yourself?
The war was still going on. And so again, there was all kinds of recovery, national recovery in different contexts, that the school system was also recovering, trying to, not even maybe for the recovery yet, was all different kinds of questions about the school system. Nobody recognizes what you call homeschool in Liberia. So I was still looking to having them go to regular school.
And was there something also about socializing?
Yes, I wanted for them to be with other children too, because at that time it was just 3 of them,
And mommy.
Yeah, and there was that, because even when we were out in Nigeria, I had to be sure that the social studies content was Liberian, and because I knew we were going to come back home to Liberia, and I wouldn't it would not, I didn't think it would be fair to them for them to be in Liberia, and then it's like you don't feel all of Liberia, if I might put it that way. So I wanted them to be where all Liberians are, do all the Liberian things, different in different settings, really.
So when you were in Nigeria, you were giving them Liberian education?
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely, I had to do that, and it wasn't much at that stage, just the issue of the national anthem, our national song, Liberian national song, and and things like the bit of history at that level, the presidents of Liberia and those kinds of stuff. It wasn't a big deal, so it was not too much for me to do.
Okay, I think I should just mention a little bit about this Liberia, Nigeria stuff, because this woman here is of Nigerian origin.
Yeah.
But today she's Liberian.
Okay, grade school all the way through secondary school in Nigeria, then university in Liberia.
Yeah. Okay. And so one man in Liberia decided you can't have just the Liberian education. I'm gonna force the Liberian citizenship on you, and so he married her. That's the short. That's the short. That's the long and short. That's the short of the long story. So there's something you said about feeling that there weren't enough cuddles in your relationship with your children.
Yeah.
Because you homeschooled them, because you were their teacher.
Yeah, I think that is really based on the fact that I thought they should have all of what happened out there. Then they come home, it's only mama, and then we can do all different non-school things, and then we cuddle and do. So it's like every time it flashes in my mind, I think I should have had more time to cuddle and do different things. But I'm not sure whether that's very real. I think it's more like a feeling that comes over me.
I think so.
You know,
I think so
and,
because
we did try in a lot of ways to incorporate. Is that incorporate? Integrate just living and school thing. As a matter of fact, if they had gone to school somewhere, we were still going to talk about homework or those kinds of things. But I thought the homeschooling put so much work on me, and 3 hours in the morning, and then right after those 3 hours, I'm in the kitchen, and that's mama's time.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's all the different evening stuff, and I have to, in the night, I have to prepare for the next day. So maybe it's just based on what I think I was too busy. That's what makes me feel. But I definitely feel that way.
I think that you probably had more cuddle time than you could have had if you went to school outside the home, because you had them all day, and after school you said, well, some school things will still crop in, but they went to school outside. You still have had the time to do homework too.
Well, you know, when you talked about this the last time, talking about, well, if they were in school away from home, you would not even see them for this length of time. I started thinking, I said, that's really true, you know. And maybe the feeling is just the way we are as human beings, flashes on you, you know, and especially as parents, you keep probing into what I did wrong and those kinds of stuff. I think that's a part of it. You know, and sometimes even when there was nothing wrong, you try to find some kind of fault. It happens to me. I don't know about.
Well, let me take it from there. Then, when you think when you were in the situation of the homeschooling, did you at any time feel, well, am I doing everything right? Am I doing it okay?
Several times I would feel that way. Not in the academic way, but there were times when, wouldn't it be better I just give up this whole idea? How will this affect them? I will project into the future and all those kinds of things. Wouldn't it be, you know, fairer to them for them to just be somewhere else and I'm not there all like round the clock with them? I felt that way.
How did you address this? How did you deal with those moments?
Basically, I would talk to myself and I say, well, I did not choose this, and I see the circumstances. This is the best I could do under the circumstances at this time. And I did do some innovation. For example, I would have them go 1 day a week to a friend who was, you know, running a regular school, just so that they would make friends. So the other 4 days they will be, you know, with me. When they come back, I'm not even asking what happened. I just said I wanted them to go and be with friends. You know, so I was not at any point like depressed about I'm doing this, I'm not sure. No. And even when they would gripe about, especially one of them, they would gripe about not wanting a mama in their classroom and all that.
Yeah, I think you need to talk about that because I found that really interesting.
I don't want, and he comes right up, I don't want any mama in my class. I want my teacher. I can have my mama and then my teacher and everything in one. I said, so I looked straight in his face. I said, you know, you are blessed. You have mama, teacher, everything wrapped in one. And of course, he was not convinced, you know, and those kinds of child age rebellions.
Yeah. What about the person who said you were mama, teacher, principal?
And this same person, by the time we got to the junior high level, because I was still teaching some of their classes when we opened up, because eventually we did open the homeschool up to for other children to come in. So by the time this particular guy,
and then you had other teachers.
Yes.
Now it wasn't only mama.
No, it wasn't. But then I'm in a situation. I'm the principal. I still teach him some subjects, you know, the sciences, and he starts up again. And this one, our older son, he actually cried, and that got to me. He said, I'm going to a different school. My friends, when I talk with my friends, they talk about their principal, they talk about their mother, and they talk about their teacher, and I just have everything in one.
Just this one person.
So I said, son, well, this is what we have. And at that time, at least the pressure, I was not teaching him everything.
Yeah, you had other teachers for other subjects.
Yeah, so other teachers were there.
So were you able to convince him?
I can't say whether he was convinced, but after that we had a family discussion, and it was clear that we were not going to send him to a different school. One of the reasons was, the cost of going there. So he never did go to any other school. He graduated from the school now that had become a big school for other students.
And then another young man also,
the younger brother,
also wanted to go to another school,
another school. And so we talked, and he said, well, I would just go just for 1 year, just so that, I'll be with my friend and see how things happen there. Then only 1 year I'll come back and said, okay, here's it. If you're going to this school,
so you were willing to let him go if he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Under some conditions.
Yes. I pointed out the conditions and the realities. Number one, you're very far from the school you want to go to.
Okay.
And so if your father can drop you off in the morning, you will have to come back home by yourself. And when you come, you will make sure under my nose you do all your homework.
Okay.
And then going there, that means from now you're in junior high all the way through senior high, you're going to finish it. As soon I hit that one, he said no. I said, okay.
You wanted to go for only 1 year, just experiment or just have a little bit of variety. Let me try another school.
And I guess, they were right. They said variety is the spice of life. Right?
But I mean, he didn't want to go for the one. If you said if you go, then you're gone. You stayed there until you finish school, and he said no, he didn't want to. Which means he loved it in Mama's school then. Okay, I think I would like you to build a link between when you stopped trying taking the children to other schools and when you then opened your school with your children up to children in the neighborhood.
So when I made those efforts and it didn't work, I just decided. So we started with straw mat and tarpaulin for the roof, and then we started sharing with friends the vision, the idea of having a school that is operated with a Christian worldview, and people really saw the need for it. Our close friends and all that. So we set up this little makeshift situation. At that time now our children were at the level of 4th grade. So the following year we added one more grade, and then I would do this like grades 4, 5, and 6 in one room. Everybody's in that one
multi-grade classroom.
For doing a one-room situation for 3rd grade level. Even though the total number in that case was like between 12 and 15. So we could do that. So then other children came in. So we started, when we set up that mat and tarpaulin building, we started with 81 children, right from the neighborhood, before we now decided to do a regular construction, a regular schoolhouse, now that we have up to a 1-story structure. And we kept adding the grades every year until we reached to the 12th grade level.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
yeah, I've been there, and I think the photos show what it has been like. You did say that your school, Kingdom Foundation International, is a gift it's your gift to Liberian children. Would you like to speak a bit more about this?
I really feel so that because number one, I don't know whether I have seen this situation work in the lives of our children, because they never attended any other school up to 2 years, and they had graduated from there. They went to the university, they finished their courses, and so we've been able to serve to other children what we have, and we have a record of over 500 children now who
Wow.
have graduated from the school and they're doing different things.
Just
and,
because you
you
were
know,
trying to educate your children.
yeah, and we believe that it will continue to influence generations and generations.
Amen. Some parents may think about home educating their children and they're thinking, oh, I don't know all, I'm not a specialist in all subjects. And then you talked about not having, not, one not really needing to have confidence that they can teach all subjects, but they can teach the children to learn to explore.
Yeah, that came to me. I think it was one of those downtimes that happened. Am I even doing well, or have I left something out? And I told myself, I said, look, this is not about subject mastery. For one thing, we had a good, the program I was using had a very solid synthetic phonics content. So by the time they were 4 years old, they were already reading, and we had books. And so I just told myself, it's not possible for one person to have all the subject mastery. And I'm not even trying that. It's a matter of helping these children learn how to learn. And as they progress in their learning, I saw that happening. Because by the time they got to senior high, sometimes we would struggle with teachers, but they knew how to look for information about whatever they had to do. When they went to the university, nobody was struggling with their courses.
And those days were not days of the internet as we do
No,
have
not at
now.
all. And there were certain ways I could integrate what we were doing in school, and it doesn't look like at home, like I'm just bogging them down with school. So I remember when we were doing shapes and things like those, we'll make bread and I cut it into the different shapes, whether rectangle or triangle, and then we're at the dining table ready to eat, and so well, I shaped all my bread. Who wants a triangle? And somebody said, I said, okay, take it. And that was just it. That it was, and they didn't feel like I was in a class teaching and drawing triangles all over the place. And from there we could go into, okay, what we have all kinds of things around you. Did you see something that looked like a triangle or rectangle around here? And then that, I think, helped them to relax about schoolwork. I think schoolwork, so-called regular schoolwork, has a way, in some ways, it could make children very tense.
Yeah.
Homeschooling could make children tense also if you're not careful. So I was not giving them grade for taking whatever shape they were eating.
Okay.
So, and I remember the bigger brother, one of those days, and he comes out and said, Mama, I can make 4 for you.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, so how do you do that? And he stands straight with one leg and then brings the other leg up to the knee and cross it with it. I said, that is 4. I said, oh yeah, that's true. And I started
could do it.
Clapping. And he felt so good that he could make 4.
Do you want to stand and make the 4 for us?
He stayed on my one leg. I don't remember whether it was the left leg or right leg. Yeah. So one leg is straight down, and he lifts up the other leg, bends it at the knee and crosses it, and then bends this knee back, and it looks like a perfect 4.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, I think we succeeded in different ways, small different ways, to not make school, because it's at home and it doesn't look like school, and then because it's at home and it's too much into other parts of their life, we try to integrate and have fun. I would say that.
And there was accountability. You talked about when the conferences you would have with the father.
Oh yes, I maintain a regular parent conference with the father.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Because when we're done, this much work, and I have to call.
Did you say after 3 weeks, or I don't remember?
3 weeks, yeah. The bases were themed for 3 weeks, so, and I have him come in and then just give a rundown and whatever help was needed. And I made it look really important. It was important.
And talking about that, I remember when you dress up to go to school in the morning. How did that used to be?
Oh yeah, and that was, if you would ask me, what about homeschooling that you felt that you enjoyed that aspect, that it just was able to put me in rhythm, because I'm someone, I'm big on, schedule. I'm doing this and after this that, and so I know that I'm going to get up 8 o'clock. I have to be in the learning center. This learning center is actually a fraction of their bedroom. When we were in Nigeria, when we went back to Liberia, we were able to use a whole room, the guest room. So, and I get up, I get ready, I know I'm going to work. And then I'm at work for 3 hours, and then I change my work. My schoolwork is done, I'm in the kitchen. So the big thing was that it gave me a schedule,
Okay.
and an order, if you like, routine, for my, entire life. Just the way I came on out of boarding school, where everything is timed, So that was good.
Yeah, what else did you like about that time?
I think basically just being able to do some silly things with the children, the games, the games, the songs, and all kinds of action, and that was fun, Yeah.
And what did it? Okay, well, you've talked about the two guys. What about the lady? How did she take it? How was? What was her own response?
As an individual, she's the kind of person that can handle anything. And then, since she's what I would call a high achiever, it was okay for her.
So she didn't, like, I want to go to another school.
No,
I don't want to
that
go to
one
school.
That one did not come from her, and she was just enjoying everything. She didn't have struggles with being
Mama school. Now, looking back, what do they say to you, or what do you? What do they say when they think about that time? I mean, they are all now, like you said, the last one is graduating from university this year. So, what do they say about that time of their life?
I know that I can quote some. I remember when our daughter was in 10th and 11th grade, she spent 3 semesters outside of Liberia. And she would say, Mama, you told me more than once that if I go to school anywhere, I will not struggle. I didn't believe it, but I see it now. And I thought that was really a heartwarming situation for me, because I think there were times that I was doing everything to try to convince them that you're not losing out. But my words were just not enough, and I was not even bombarding them with that. When they come with their questions, I find a way to answer it and go on with what I was doing. And the brother was getting, the twin brother was getting disenchanted with one of his teachers in senior high, and said, I'm not going to class. I said, what happened? Everything I needed to learn, I learned it in kindergarten. I said, oh really? I said, thank you.
Thank you, but you do need to go back to continue your school. So my mama was such a good teacher. She gave me everything when I was in kindergarten.
So I said, that's all right, thank you, but you have to go to school.
Lovely. If you were to do this all over again, are there things you would do differently?
If I were to do homeschooling, I would really seek opportunities to collaborate, with others. And now with technology, for them to explore their other talents. And I would be, if I had to do it again, I would be more intentional and deliberate about creating opportunities, avenues, or whatever it takes, so that they can have more social exposure, and then exposure to other situations that develop other parts of their life, their talents or whatever. And of
Did you say some of them were interested in arts and athletics?
Two of them, as a matter of fact, 2 of them are artists, fine artists. They do that as a very big hobby, and they're also athletes. One is a long distance runner all the way to the national level. The other person is high jumper. But those were things that we couldn't develop in a home school, or maybe not even in the country. But the point I'm making is that I would, if I was to do that again, I would have given them more extra time just to do other things besides being at home and schooling, or even in any one school doing things. But those times were different, you know. And now with the explosion of technology, I don't think I would really have to worry much about that. You could connect with another person online.
Exactly.
You know.
Thank you very much, sis, for this time and for being so generous in sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sis.
It was a pleasure to share.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this time with us. And if you have, why don't you give it a like and share with your friends? You never know who this can be helpful to. So thank you so much then. Bye. See you in my next video.